We're live, everybody. How y'all doing? This is your good friend Ron, aka Canadian Printing Project. I'm here also with John DiCaprio, who runs the Geek Tech unofficial Facebook group. How you doing, John?
The unofficial one.
Huh?
Yep, that's right.
Yep. So we got a little bit of a problem here today, guys. Daniel will not be able to join us tonight. So we're probably thinking we're going to have to push this episode back because I really want Daniel on here to go into nicks and crannies because I have Simplified 3D. I don't have Simplified 3D. I have Slicer now. I've moved away from Cura because Cura doesn't... I don't know how to put this. I've had more issues with Cura than I can shake a stick at. Yet, when I sliced something recently with the Slicer Prusa edition, holy cow, did it come out good. I got a little bit of stringing issues, as you can see there, but nothing too serious. So we're going to be on for a little bit. How about you, John? What's been your experience with Slicer? Or which one are you using? I know you say you do.
Yeah, I started out with the regular Slicer, or as I like to call it, Slick 3R. I enjoy that as a name. And so from here on forth, that is how I will be referring to it. That's what I started out with. That's what, when I first got my first printer, G-Tech and all their manuals suggested that you used it. So that's what I grabbed. And I've always been fairly comfortable with it. And then one of the guys in one of the 3D printing groups offered me his other license. Like, he had Simplify 3D. He's only using it on one computer. He told me I could use his account. So I said, cool, I'll try it out. I'll see it. And I used it for a long time. He then eventually knocked me off of it, and then I got it. You know, I bought it. And I used it probably for 2 years. And as I got more printers, I really hated the way Simplify 3D manages multiple printers. It seems disjointed. You go into one thing, it kicks you out, everything disappears, all your profiles are gone. It seemed like a mess for years of dealing with it that way. So Daniel actually told me for probably 2 straight years that I have to try Slick 3R back out again. And then I heard everyone ranting and raving about how great Prusa edition is. Then I got a Prusa, and I started using it with my Prusa, and I went, oh, this is perfect. And nothing is better at handling multiple printers. And when you run in 6, it's just good to have that. And I mean, Slick 3R, the way it handles multiple printers, you just click a drop-down box, CR10S. Then you go to your print settings. You can have it set for that printer. You click the print settings, click your filament, you're set. Really simple. And the results I get from it are fantastic.
Yeah, I've been really impressed. Like, I mean, I sliced benchies with Cura. I've not come out with a benchy this nicely. Like, I mean, the detailing in it is sharp, even down to areas where I've noticed like layer lines being a little bit where you can feel the layer lines. Slick 3R just did a beautiful job of the layer lines, and it's so tight together that when I feel my finger around it, I can feel the layer lines, but they aren't as big as what I felt with Cura.
Okay.
And I don't know how to explain it, but it just looks better.
You're thinking like layer consistency is better for you.
Yeah, definitely.
You find that across all of your printers?
I found that across switching from between Cura to Simplify 3 to Slick 3R Prusa edition. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been happy. Once I get this stupid retraction issue fixed, which is why I'm hoping. That's why we're hoping to have Daniel on to go a little bit in retractions, because I know anything that when you talk about Slick 3R, he is so happy to talk about it. So.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of issues are you having with it?
Just stringing. And there is some changes that you can change. You got to watch Maker's Muse again to go over all the things that he changed. But he did it in Maker or something? Idea Maker? for his
Yeah,
slicer.
he's been using Idea Maker a lot.
Yeah.
I haven't messed with that at all. I know a lot of people do. I have a tendency to avoid. So that software that's made by Raise 3D for Raise 3D printers, and I just don't know that it's really going to support other printers as well.
And that's kind of interesting, trolling for dollars, that you bring that up. He says he's more interested in the functional print and can overlook the pretty issue. See, that's the funny thing is that, is it more accurate than Cura? Because if it looks prettier, is it being more accurate? That's good.
I mean, realistically, it should be as accurate. I mean, they should both be accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the accuracy should come down more to your printer than it should that slicer, unless you're doing something really weird with the settings.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be the biggest issue. And I mean, if you're just having a stringing issue, it's very likely either, obviously temperature, retraction, something like that, which we could definitely work on.
Yeah. So I just want to say hi to everybody, anyways, that's in the room right now. We have Brian Baker. We have Michael Castell. We also have 3D Medic Vince and Trolling for Dollars. So thanks all for coming in. This is not going to be a long meeting. We're probably just going to go for a few minutes. Unfortunately, like I said, Daniel cannot join us tonight. He is stuck with other altercations that have recently popped up, so he won't be joining us tonight. So I just wanted to keep this light, simple, and just out there in the world. So we're not going to get into the slicing stuff. I'm sorry about that. But what's your thoughts of Simplified 3D? Have you heard about the latest news, what they're doing?
I mean, my personal opinion, for whatever it's worth, I've always thought that it's very expensive software that doesn't give you a whole lot for your money. And the idea of doing a big paid upgrade for it makes me crazy.
After all those people that have paid so much money for that and then just throw it in your face. It's like, okay, you were saying everybody download the program, you're 150, fine, whatever. And then you go slap everybody that paid the money in the face with saying, oh, you got to pay us another $150. Say you bought like a year ago. And you're just finding this out now that you're going to have to pay another $150 when the upgrade comes out.
I mean, I get what a lot of people are saying, where it's not crazy to have, paid for upgrades. I personally think Simplify 3D should probably be a $50 program. In general, if you've already spent $150, see how you can make yourself spend another. I don't know what they're going to ask, but say $30-$40. Seems like too much to me.
Yeah, just Brian was saying he wanted to join, but unfortunately he's flying to Ontario again. Just trying to figure out where. But yeah, no. I mean, okay, I was actually tempted to buy Slicer this summer, actually. I was almost going to bite the bullet and buy it because I was having nothing but issues with Cura. Because Cura screwed up so badly with their versions, with the CR10s and the Enders, and just massive headaches.
I think my problems with Cura are more of, it's like that typical thing, whatever you start out with, when you go to something that's fairly different, it's hard to make that change. And just the way that Cura handles, wall thickness instead of perimeters, and that kind of stuff makes me absolutely crazy. It's like, okay, I want 3 perimeters. So now let me find what my extrusion width is and divide, what I want or times that by whatever I want the wall thickness. It's crazy. But I'm sure a lot of people who started out with Cura, it's natural. And as soon as they touch something else, they go, what is this? I just want to set my wall thickness. I mean, I think it's one of those things where it depends on what you start it with. And the interface for Cura just makes me absolutely crazy. It's just like a scrolling, non-organized list of things forever,
Yeah, it's I mean, I've used when I first got my first printer, this is the my first printer ever was the Troxy X1. Okay, that thing is a piece of junk, but when it prints like a beaut. It just hammers through anything I throw at it, which is great. But I don't know what's going on here. But as Brian Baker said, wait till you guys see Cura 4.0. It is way worse. I looked at 4.0 beta after you were talking about it, and I agree with you. It's a piece of junk. Brian Baker, I agree with you 100%. But yeah.
Yeah, I won't be messing with Cura anytime soon.
Yeah.
I've got Slick 3R working perfectly for how I use it now. It's so perfect. Fits into my workflow. Just nothing else like it.
Yeah. Also, I was going to say, since you are coming to the event at Murph, I'll be there with my table. Yes, people, I got my ticket, I got my table, so I'll be there. So if any of you guys are coming down to Earth, you should come on down here.
Yeah, I'll definitely be at Earth. There's probably a 0% chance I'll make it to Murph.
Damn. Because at
Murph is happening.
Murph would have been cool for you to show up because I know Prusia is going to be there this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he likes to go around, and you might have been able to pick up one of your powdered PEI sheets for your ender. For your,
I still haven't done the upgrade for it. Mine is still just a regular 2.22S. Yeah, Mark II.
You haven't gone to. Okay, I thought it was a 3. I thought it was the MK3 you had. My mistake.
No, I haven't even gone to the 2.5 yet.
You should, dude. It's worth it. Everybody raves about it.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I don't really need the removable bed that much. My extruder works fine. They have all these issues with the Bondtech gears that they say there's inconsistent extrusion. I don't know if they've worked that out yet, but this thing works perfectly.
I think 2.5 did fix that problem.
Yeah.
And also on top of it, it now will work with the MMU2. If I remember correctly, because they're multicolor. How you feel about multicolor, anyways? Just out of curiosity.
I've never used one. You probably can't really see it, but the printer I have down at the bottom here, that Delta, that was supposed to be a diamond hot end where it does three colors mixing.
Mm-hmm.
Never worked. Never I always had issues with it. Yeah. And it's been the worst printer I've ever owned. So it rarely is ever turned on. But I would love to try something out. I was hoping that I was eventually going to get one of the A10Ms. Did you get an A10M?
No, I did not get an A10M, unfortunately.
Okay. For some reason, I thought you had one of those.
No.
Then again, those mixing hot ends, they don't work as well as something like the MMU2 either. They don't. They're prone to clogs. I know I'd probably be frustrated with it constantly.
Yeah. I know that if I don't know. I'm hoping soon to see some other there's thousands of new printers coming out every day. It seems that we get thrown at us. Being someone that was talking about having the ANET A8 and another one catching on fire recently. And it's just
usually the ANETs.
Why is it the ANETs that are catching on fire? I have my own reasons, but and I'll get into that. But do you have any thoughts of that?
Well, I mean, it's typically just poorly made boards, with the connections are usually loose and they end up with high resistance, and then everything ends up melting down. The firmware has everything turned off. So as soon as they have a thermal runaway, it just basically goes up like a tinderbox. I don't know how many times it's happened, but it's obviously on, the worst made stuff. Bad connectors aren't tightened down, tight enough. It's also, if I'm being fair, it's the cheapest kit at the time. So there's probably a lot of people who bought them, a lot of people who've never built a printer, a lot of people who may have made mistakes when they're making their printers, you know. So they probably are a victim of that to a certain extent, you know, just a lot of beginners. But I mean, it's their responsibility to make something that's at least safe. Ship it with, you know, fail safes turned on. Can't really forgive that.
Yeah, that's the main problem. I think it's that people don't realize that there are so many layers in their way that they it's built. Now, does it use a ramp board or is it its own Melzi board? Do you remember? Or
I want to say that their boards are some sort of like ramps with like a 1280. If I remember correctly, it's similar to a Creality type board.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a Melzi. Trolling for dollars could probably tell us since he has one.
Yeah, he seems to love his ANET.
John, what kind of board is in that thing? I also, you know, if tonight isn't really going to go the way we thought, maybe I can just pick everyone's brain here. I'm having a really, really strange problem, and we got a lot of smart guys here. If anyone will, you know, indulge me 5 minutes. I've been having a very, very odd problem with my A10, my G-Tech A10, where if I set the printer through the LCD to say 235, it gets to 235 just fine. Sits there perfect. If I do a PID, the temperature works fine. It cycles normally. But anything with G code, whether it's through Octoprint or through my SD card, whether it's Simplify 3D or it's Slicer, it'll get to say 235. It'll struggle to get there. And as soon as it hits, say, 235, it will drop almost all the way down to 225 and then struggle its way back up to temperature. And 50% of the time, I have a thermal runaway. And it's only when running G code. And I haven't really been able to figure it out. I've done everything. I rewrote my entire firmware in case I was having a firmware problem. I switched slicers a bunch of times. I switched power supplies.
Have you tried PID?
Yeah, my PID. Yeah, it's like Brian says. It seems like my PID tuning is shot. When I run a PID, I'll do 10 cycles. It works out fine. The values that come out aren't strange. They aren't weird. There's nothing off about them. They're pretty close to what they should be. But it almost seems like my P is off. My printer is 24 volt. 24 volt, and I mean it's a brand new problem too. That's the other thing. This thing has worked for months and months and months. Fine.
One thought comes to my mind, but it doesn't make sense. But it could be that you may have a bad thermistor or a bad heat cartridge.
Yeah, I was thinking that, like, I was going to take it all apart and make sure that nothing was rubbed apart or, you know, shorting. But the fact that it works absolutely perfectly through the LCD to get to temperature, how it works absolutely perfectly through setting the temperature through a terminal, but it only has a problem when running G code. I don't know that it really is physical. It doesn't seem to be physical.
Have you tried sending G code directly from your computer to it?
Yeah.
Rather like cut out Octopi, cut out SD card?
Yeah. Yep.
Still doesn't.
None of it works. It's all exactly the same. Or junction, the MOSFET could be failing. Brian, can you think of why it would be different when running G code versus just, you know, giving it a value? Like if I hook it up to Octoprint right now, set it to 235, it's going to get to 235 perfect. If I drop it to 220, it'll go down to 220 fine, and it'll go right back up to 235 if I set it. Yeah, I could do that. I thought that maybe just switching, because I used different slicers, so I don't know how my G code would do anything, but I can definitely look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know of it ever changing G code. change your. I don't know. G code could change your PID values.
Daniel wanted me to hook it up to Repetier, and there's some kind of
Repetier host.
Yeah, where it will watch your duty cycles.
Yep.
Well, my cooling fan isn't coming on when it happens. So like my first layer, my cooling fan isn't even turning on, and my regular fan, the actual extruder fan. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it through.
Yeah, Jay from State Farm.
I've done it through SD and through Octoprint and through a USB.
Jake's wondering if it's a cooling issue.
It's a real odd one. Yeah, I mean, if my fan was aimed in the wrong place and it was on, but it's not even on. My fan's not turning on.
Have you tried turning the fan on and then get it to 230, turn on the fan and see if there's any changes before you start a print?
Well, since the fan isn't even part of the equation, I don't want to even mess with that right now.
So
here, I'm going to download one.
It just crashes and says thermal runaway.
Depends. If it a lot of the time it will get to the right value. And if I set my P, if I edit my P up higher, it will get there faster. And so that has kind of helped, but it has made my temperatures completely crazy. There's a PID limit somewhere in the firmware. Not sure if it applies to the heat block. That's interesting.
Like when I changed my nozzle, I was having nothing but thermal runaway issues, and then all of a sudden I figured out what was causing it. But that's with my V6, and now that I got that under control, I got to do it again because I just lost a one of my fans on my CR10 cooling just went poof, broke the whole fan coupler and everything else. So I just had to reprint that. So soon I'll be going through PID tuning again, just so I'm not cooling the nozzle too much. But yeah, I'm wondering.
I am going to download.
Whose firmware are you using?
I was using. Yeah, I was using just regular Marlin 1.1.9 that I had configured myself. I've been running for 6 months with no problem. And I actually, just because I thought it was a firmware issue, I went in and I configured a whole new Marlin 2.0 firmware the other night, and same exact issue. I'm going to check the G code real quick to see if it does override PID values at all. I just downloaded one of my.
I know Brian Baker got choice words about certain slicers right now.
Yeah, my Bang Bang Max is at 255. Downloads. You know, if I had to bet, I probably do have like a wire that's shorting out or somewhere. It doesn't make sense that it gets up to temperature perfectly fine. You know, normally. One of the things that I did notice though is the reason I switched out the power supply is when it drops in temperature, the power supply fan kicks on really hard right before it happens. So, you know, it gets to 235. It starts to print. Are you hearing? Yes, typically. And as soon as it starts to print, you'll hear that power supply fan kick on really hard, and then the temperature drops on the hot end really, really fast. So I thought it was power supply, but I changed it and still had the same problem. Open with Notepad. Boy, I love looking at G-code in Notepad. That
That's why I
totally
do it in
going on.
Notepad++. Much easier.
Yeah, all right. So I wonder what I would be looking for overriding PID values.
Well, Brian can answer that question.
Yeah, it could be the board. Let me definitely. I've thought of this a couple times, but I thought I might be. But I did switch my stepper motor drivers from TMC 2208s from one company to 2208s from another company. That's the only other big change that I made. I don't know how my stepper drivers would really affect this whole thing. M301.
Yeah, that's
Okay, so there's no M301 commands in this G code. So I guess that's not it. M190s. Interesting. I don't know. Well, I'll eventually figure it right. It might not even be, it might have nothing to do with my actual heater cartridge or thermistor. It might actually be the board. I'll have to see if I can get a replacement.
He wants you to try some G code on your printer, by the way. Brian wants you to. I love Anonymous just posted in Notepad++ is life. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's the greatest.
Yeah.
Turn it on. Brian's going to tell me to do something. I'm going to do it. I've learned that lesson in the last year or so.
We've had Brian on the show a couple times. He's helped us out a little bit. Helped me out a lot when it comes to Marlin. But Jake for State Farm, thanks for coming in, though, dude. Because I know Jake from State Farm helped me out a lot getting my PID tuning done. So that helped me out a lot.
Boom. A10 is on.
So what would you say is your favorite printer right now that you've been using?
My Prusa.
Really?
The thing's got, yeah, it's got like 120 days of usage on it. Still prints better than everything I own. It works every single time. I never have an issue. It's never broken down. I mean, the rest of these printers, I spend a lot of time fixing them constantly.
Yeah. Prusa, when they build a printer, they build it right the first time.
And I know it's the cop-out answer, but most of my other printers are kind of crap. I've got a lot of crap printers.
Yeah, Prusa's like the almighty, once done, that's it,
Yeah. I am ordering up all the extrusions to make both of Daniel's printers. I'm going to do the cantilevered Core XY, and I'm going to do the big Core XY.
Yeah, I'm planning on, I might do a Hypercube. I haven't decided yet. I was thinking of doing a D-Bot instead because no one else has done it.
I had started to source all the parts for D-Bot a long time ago, but I don't know. A friend of mine, has made his own design, and I think I'm going to try it. I trust him. He knows what he's doing.
Oh, the cantilever. Yeah, it's cantilever printer. Yeah, I liked it too when I first saw it.
Yeah, I have all the parts already. I just need extrusions.
Google Drive for you.
All right, I'm clicking on it. Oh, I got a virus.
Nice going, Brian. Infect them, why don't you?
Oh no, it's a Canadian virus too.
Is it full of really good liquor?
Yeah, they're practically the same printer.
All your spools belong to us.
Got a lot of them. Unfortunately,
Yes.
a lot of this Maker Geeks junk. So,
Make your geeks. Oh, don't get me started on them.
have you been following that?
Yeah, I've been following it. Not good stuff. What's going on over there? I think they're in like a lot of hot water in the last couple months. I've heard something like a class action lawsuit is being written against them by somebody.
Yeah,
who happens to be a lawyer and a 3D printer enthusiast.
I heard it from them, right? Like, didn't they say it on that letter that they sent all of us?
I didn't receive the letter, so I didn't know what they said.
They sent an email out saying, well, this isn't good. And it was just like this long email about how they got overwhelmed and then people started reporting them to the Better Business Bureau. They never meant to do anything wrong and they never knowingly did anything. And they're opening up a new store and they're trying to get their old store back online. And they are selling.
Like they give like half the money to their church.
I have no idea. I didn't hear that part.
Oh yeah, apparently
I'll pull the letter up right now. It's
half
definitely
their
in
money
my
they say goes to the church. Church of what?
The church of stealing my money.
Okay.
John Mack, are you sure they're closed? They've been sending me emails as of like 3 days ago. I mean, I know that their website was taken down. That's part of what that email is about. But then they were trying to get it back up and they opened like a new website to sell most of their products.
Oh, shit.
What?
Do not purchase from Maker Geeks, Filament Geeks, and something else. This was posted on February 2016 from 3D Printing Nerd. He was pretty pissed off with them.
That's what happened. For some reason, this opened in Simplify 3D for me. Okay, Maker Geeks.
Last post on their Twitter was back in August 15th of 2018. Interesting.
I'm having a little trouble with the... Oh, here it is. I'm just going to drop this right on my A10. And I'm going to start the print right off the bat. Do I have filament? I do have filament. So right now, Maker Geek's website is definitely still down. But that's what their email is about. Is like, hey, we're getting it back up. For now, you can buy our stuff on our sister site or something.
Yeah, Facebook has nothing on their Facebook either, which is kind of shocking.
Well, they disappeared on me. I had 2 orders and a Maker Geek box order that never showed up, and I ended up having to go to my credit card company to charge them all back. Because I sent them no fewer than 10 emails, and they didn't respond to a single one of them. Not even an automated, like, we'll get to you as soon as possible. It was just complete radio silence.
Well, they've gone silent on all their social media. From what I can tell here, looking at, I'm actually looking at the information that's available right now.
All right, I've uploaded your cube. I'm going to preheat my bed so that I'm not doing both of those at the same time.
Okay, my chat's just catching up again. Somehow my window just closed up on it. Now it's reopening again.
Yeah, I'm trying to... you guys know I have a ridiculously old computer. And whenever I'm streaming, like nothing else works. I'm pretty sure that Chrome is using 100% of my CPU right now. It's just killing my CPU. All right, so I'm just getting my Gmail open. Maker Geeks. Let's see what they said. This was posted in probably every 3D printing Facebook group known to man the other day when it was going down. What the hell is it?
Wow, there's major marks on them on Better Business Bureau too.
Yeah, that's been that way for a long time.
Yeah.
So the title of the email is, well, that isn't good, with a unhappy winky face. And it says, Maker having a bitch. We've grown and grown over the last 24 months. That's funny. If I can get it to open. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to do a full rebrand. It says they had issues with their equipment and they were not able to ship orders, and it started to run in trouble with Better Business Bureau claims, which then compounded all their problems. And they're calling all of this drama. It says they received an email from Google saying that they've received a report from an anonymous tipster that their website hosted on Shopify had a vulnerability and blocked the website. That's why their website's down right now. Said, talk about bad timing with the bad press coming out over the weekend. Now our website and emails being down. And he said that reinforces the rumors. And then it says here that you can go to filamentgeeks.com, and they said they are selling their stuff on that website now. So they may try and rebrand as Filament Geeks. And it looks like filamentgeeks.com is working. All right, so my bed is up to temperature. I'm going to print Brian's cube. X, Y, Z. Oh, yeah, this is like the filamentgeeks.com is barely a rebrand.
Okay, I just tried to go to Filament Geeks and give me problems. Is it filamentgeeks.com?
Yep, filamentgeeks.com.
Yeah, apparently it's not listed in Google. Interesting.
I'm going to close that. Okay, I have started the print. Oh, okay, my bed's going up to 65 first. All right, and now it's trying to make its way up to 210. I'm going to actually watch it on my terminal here and see what happens. Brian, what did you do with this G code? Is this just your G code, or is there something special about it? I feel like I should screen share this. Maybe I will. I wonder how screen sharing works with multiple.
Yeah, you just have to turn on. You just have to have when your screen set as display screen. It's a little bit of pain, but set up in OBS.
Cool. That's actually really easy because I can do just my second screen.
Oh, okay. Oh, you got it set for that. Okay, then yeah, you can do that easily.
Yep. Yeah, it heats up very, very quickly. And you can see that that curve, as it's going up right now, looks pretty good. And I'm going to go watch what happens once it starts up.
I like Jade from State Farm. It's special because it's Brian's code. We're not sure about that just yet.
Uh-oh.
Well, they're actually a lot cheaper. Filament Geeks have really dropped the prices a little bit.
Yeah, it dropped all the way down to 200 already.
Oh, yeah, I see it now dropping.
But 210 is pretty reasonable, so it should be able to get back up to it. But you see how it like goes right back down too?
Looks like it's going back up again.
It is. It'll get to 210, no problem. You think it's too high? Daniel thought it was too low. And then we're going to see, because I'm going to let it run, but I'm going to set it to 235, which is what this filament should be at. And we'll see what it does when it gets up there. But it's having a significantly harder time getting back to 210 right now than it did almost in the beginning. Okay, so now we'll set this to 235, see what happens. You see how it went up to 235. Now it's dropping to 229, 227, 226. It got to 235, no problem. 225, 224. If it does this for too long, it'll go to thermal runaway. Now that it's crawling back up, it'll probably be fine.
Your bed is looking wonky too.
Yeah, it is.
Have you tried changing the power supply?
Yeah.
And still does the same thing.
Oh, there it goes. Thermal runaway.
Yeah.
Boom. Shot.
And you've done a PID on the bed and you've done a PID on the...
I'm not running PID on the bed. I'm on the bed.
Your bed is really wonky, and I'm wondering if it wouldn't be beneficial to run on both. The fact that both your bed and your hot end are showing the same issue, I'm wondering if you have like there's a major issue with the board or with something in there. Thermal runaway is no one wants to know what thermal runaway is. Thermal runaway is one of the many protections that are put into our print that has usually been disabled by a printer. It's usually caused by a heating error, like John Mack just said, or B, what it can do is, say if your thermistor falls out of your heat block, which is a little cartridge that we slide into the heater to heat a block that heats your plastic. If that was to fall out and it drags on a bed, it can catch on fire on the bed, causing your whole printer to catch on fire. If the thermistor say that happens and the thermistor detects it, it'll actually turn off the heat and shut down your printer immediately, so no more heat gets passed through, which can limit the chance of a fire happening. It's a safety protection, and with most printers nowadays from China, it's not activated, so that's why it's good to turn that on if you are buying if you buy a Chinese printer. But so, what is your printer saying? Are you going to do? I would do a PID test. I would try pushing it up to.
So I just set it to Brian's PID values that
Okay.
he put here. I can tell you right now, mine was like a 12.63, and then I think like 66 on the D. So these are pretty radically different. I would say they're almost double on most of them. So let's see what happens. I've actually changed the height hysteresis values. I did do that. But I mean, I'd have to change them to probably like 25 seconds. And I would venture to say that this thing probably shouldn't be working this way. That I have this is fairly new. So it might be a board. I might have like a board issue. Let's see how this works though with the new values.
And on this 41125, there's a really good, if you type in what is thermal runaway, there's a couple good articles that actually go through it and can explain it a lot more better than what I can, but that's what I've known from reading what I was able to find and why it's so important to have it on your printer. That's the main reason why ANET A8 catch on fire is because thermal runaway is disabled. So is a lot of extra protection on those. But my thing is just ANET is not putting precautions into the printers, and that's why they're catching on fire. That's where I stand, really. Seems like you're climbing pretty good there.
Yeah, like I said, it doesn't have any problem getting to temperature.
Has problem maintaining temperature.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even like say it gets past this whole point. It'll maintain the temperature for hours. If I left it at 210 and didn't change it to 235, it would stay at 210 for hours, no problem.
I'm wondering now. Something's telling me MOSFET. Like my mind is saying MOSFET. This is a MOSFET issue.
Let's see. So it'll get to 235 and it'll drop back down. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's he's dropping.
We'll see how far. See, it's not dropping as far. And I'm guessing with these values, it'll rebound faster. But I guess the question is, why is it doing this? See, now it'll complete. If we leave this alone the way it is right now, it'll go down to 235 and it'll hang out there all day. No problem. And we'll have this cube will finish just fine. Well, yeah,
That was a
spoke
major drop again.
Jeez.
Seems to be pretty stable all of a sudden.
Yeah, once it stabilizes out, I just wonder if this is some sort of hardware issue, if I'm hurting something by making it run like this forever. It is pretty wobbly. Can you think of why my PID values would be so off? I mean, if I'm running it through an auto tune. Oh, well, this will definitely finish. Once it gets to this point, it's not going to drop. It's not going to drop super low for a long period of time again. So,
yeah, I would definitely. Yeah, no. Usually, though, when anyone auto tune, usually when you auto tune, usually it fixes the problem, but in this case, it didn't. I guess.
Well, it'll actually finish a print this way, so I guess that's something.
Well, at least you got your printer back at somewhat cost.
Yeah. All right, so I'll pop this back off. I'm just going to let that complete because why not, right?
Yeah, I'd say let it go on and see what happens. You know, you can't lose anything without trying and seeing what happens. Sorry, I just got some message here. Someone wants to join something. I'll take care of that. So, if anybody's been on to the Canadian Maker Facebook group, you know that already that I put a poll out asking what would you like to see me do as covering for shows, because there's going to be a lot of shows happening. So I'd like to get your guys' input. If you guys have already voted, great. Thank you so much. If you voted for Ben's, really, I don't know why Ben just told me to be a boss. But no, I get the joke. But, you know, people have voted yes. Do you want to see me do it? So, but I haven't heard from all you guys. So if you want to go over to the Canadian Maker Project Facebook page. It's in the description down below. And let me know what you guys vote for. Because honestly, you guys are the ones that watch it. I want to put out whatever you guys want to see. So, you know, there's content out there. And I think it's good. I'll record it and put it out. But I want to know what your guys' thoughts are also.
Whew. Supports. That is definitely not the strong point of Slick 3R.
Oh, really? It has bad supports?
It's fine. It's not terrible. And that's the good thing about that program is everything is fixable. It's just settings. If you take the time, you can make it do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to argue with Simplify 3D supports. They do a really good job. Yeah, that wasn't so bad. Came out solid piece. Actually, a perfect part.
That's interesting. In one of your screenshots, we see your hand already moving to remove the piece off, and you're already showing it to us.
Yeah. That's what 10 frames a second on a Raspberry Pi gets you.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, I should really go through and fix that.
Yeah. Well, guys, anyways, when we call it a night, I mean, we got one problem solved at least.
Yeah, Brian, I'll definitely keep in touch with you. I can see the oscillations are getting much smaller too. It's kind of sticking around the 235 mark much better. Well, thanks for having me on anyway, Ron. Maybe we'll see if Daniel can do it next week.
Yeah, we can do it next week with Daniel and, you know, really crack down on doing changes and, you know, getting it nailed down. Next week, I don't know if I'm going to be doing it or not. With my birthday and Wednesday and everything else going on, I don't know if I'll be free next week or not to do this. That's why we're playing it this week. But probably next Sunday I'll be probably free.
Yeah, I know Daniel's been pretty busy lately because he's had a lot of stuff going on, but I'm sure.
Yeah, I was talking. Yeah, I was talking with him also recently. Yeah, no. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to ring the bell. hit subscribe. Because then you'll know when we put out new stuff. And sometimes it's actually just talking about 3D prints. Like lately, I've been working on a secret project, which I'm going to be putting a video out soon once I get that sent out. And they've received the product, of course. But yeah, I'm just working for a podcast I actually do listen to a lot of. You guys are looking for a good new podcast to check out? All I can say is check out Home Gadget Geeks if you're into 3D, if you're into everything gadgety. That's what they mostly cover, but and this was not one of our best shows. I'll mention that straight up, guys. This was not one.
I think it was our best show ever. This is obviously the one that's just me and you. I mean, we don't have that smart guy dragging us down with all of his facts and intelligence.
That's true. Yeah,
us having a good time. Best show ever.
Oh, Jesus. I can see the emails now. Fine. You don't want me on your show now? Fine. I'll see you.
Right. He's used to me. Don't worry. He's known me a long time.
Yeah. Down with the Brian.
Yeah.
No, Brian.
That's what I'd like.
Down with you.
I would love to build an IDEX machine. Is that what you're doing? Are you doing an IDEX, Brian? Well, the lag on this, I'll send him a Facebook message later.
Ender 3 Dual. Ooh, yeah. Seems like everybody's now taking the Ender 3 boards out and putting MKS gen boards in there and everything else lately.
That's the biggest problem with Creality stuff in general is that these boards that they use are terrible. Other than that, it's fine, obviously, but
it's not the board they use; it's the amount of memory they give us.
Well, that's the problem. It's a 1280 board with integrated drivers. They're just kind of junk. In my opinion.
It's good for what it does, but that's about it.
Yeah, sure. All right. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Well, I want to thank you all for tuning in. And till next time, everybody, keep on printing and have fun. Oh, yeah, and don't forget to hit thumbs up.
Thumbs it.